Hey, Mark Rodriguez here, and with me is...
Wendy, also known as Jupi Chan or Ninja Jupi. Hi, guys.
Yes, it is a special episode here. This is not really like the review sanctum or whatever else. This is basically kind of like the Rippaverse Isom discussion thing. So we'll be like discussing Isom 1 and 2 and any little theories you might have, any ideas, things like that. The first thing I want to show off real quick though is just a little differences in the covers because some of them are limited release. So as you can see here, we got Isom 1 and 2, and Jupe's got Isom 1 and 2.
Yeah, right here.
Yep, there we go.
And two.
Yep. Now, the main difference here is that this one here is what they would call back then the Gyro variant, because there was like a cover that had all the characters in it. This is like a Gyro version, and I forgot there was another version. I forgot what it was. Or I think it was that one, the one that Jupi has. So Jupi has the common, I guess, the forever cover. So if you were to buy ISO number 1 today, that's the cover you're going to be getting because that's the one that they're going to keep printing over and over and over and over. This was kind of a limited print, like for the what do you call it, for that campaign for ISO 1. So this one's already, it's gone. You'll be getting the one that Jupi gets. Now, one thing I also found out is that this one here, even though it's still available for the time being, this is also a limited one. And it's still in the store as of right now, but eventually when it runs out, it's gone. This is limited print, and once it's gone, it's gone. And I want to put the picture up real quick. There's one where Isom's kind of like, I guess, looking up like at the rooftops or something, like kind of hanging off the thing. That's going to be the permanent cover from now on, whenever these run out, stuff like that. So that's the thing. So we're going to start real quick with Jupes here. What were your thoughts on Isom number 1 in general? Because we never got to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay, so I finally got through Isom 1 proper, and I kind of liked it. I mean, it was more like they were just, just really curious of the character. What was it, Avery's character?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about his past. It made me very curious as to why he stopped crime fighting. I was curious about the whole, what was the girl's name again that he actually went back to look for? Her name?
Yeah, Jasmine was like the missing friend. Or the family friend of Altona. Altona's like his sister.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I was kind of very curious about that setup and how she fits into all of this and of Avery's power, because it seems like reading it, it just seems like he's like one of those, what do you call them, the accepts or the people with the power, whatever. And I'm just assuming that his power is like, well, obviously strength and easy to recover and regenerate. So that made me, I'm more curious about how he got these powers or how these characters get these powers. Were they experimented on? Why did he quit? I just had so many questions, and how Jasmine would fit into all of this, because of meeting up with the old, the guy that ran that business and the club, and how, how they seem, he has a little animosity towards Avery, and I don't know. I just had questions, but it is only the first issue, so obviously it'll be setting up stuff that you'll read about later on, and hopefully those questions will be answered. So it just seemed like it was just a good introduction. Just gave you, an introduction to these characters. You get an idea as to what Avery is like, and he seems kind of like a very lonerish type character, like he has maybe some trust issues too, and I would like to know more about that as to why he kind of sort of comes across that way. Like it's like he pick and choose. It's like he's very selective with who he trusts.
Yeah,
and it makes me very curious as to why, and that was my feeling while reading the first issue.
Yeah. And for the first issue, I like the story. I was kind of curious how it was going to go. And I like the fights in the club and stuff. I like the some of the typical badass lines, like whoever doesn't want to get hurt, y'all can leave now. Because if you stay, you get in a whooping, that kind of thing. He didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean. That general, like the Captain America elevator scene before we get started. If anyone wants to leave, you can leave now. That kind of thing. It did feel like one of those old school kind of action movies, like those 80s, 90s movies where you gotta, kind of go around and go to the clubs and ask this and who sent you and all that kind of stuff to kind of figure out what's going on. That was kind of cool. What are you doing?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was gonna say something else that since you mentioned that. Oh, what was it? Something else I noticed. Oh man, not just that club thing, but it did come across that way, like you said, like it could be part of like an 80s film. You're going around and gotta ask the questions and find out who the guys are and all of that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's just so much, honestly, to describe Avery's character. Like I said, I'm just really interested in Avery's character. And something I found interesting is that he comes across as not a black or white character. He comes across as a gray area character, which I think is cool because he originally went there, to do the favor for his sister, to find, was it Jasmine, to placate her mother, like, ease her worries. But when Darren disrespected him, it was like, oh, Jasmine be darned. I gotta take this fool out. He disrespected me. And I thought that was an interesting character trait for Avery.
Yeah. Now, one thing that was interesting about Avery, and they did confirm it in the second book with more summation, is that, yeah, the first book did kind of imply that Darren Fontano did not know that he was an Except. He was expecting San Juan to just whoop his ass like he would whoop the ass of any, ordinary human and stuff like that. And yeah, the second issue confirmed it. So it does kind of like there's a little more interesting story there. We'll get more into the origin and when we get to the second issue. But it is interesting though, because one thing we gotta kind of find out on two things is number one, how and when Avery got his powers and how old was he when he got his powers, because he obviously grew up with Darren for some length of time. I don't know if they were kids or teenagers or whatever, but whenever they parted ways or whatever. But like Darren never knew he had superpowers. And so I'm kind of curious how that happened. And another thing is with Avery's like trust issues and now becoming a loner and doesn't really want to, like, he just wants to kind of live his life on his farm in peace and whatever, you know what I mean? So like I wonder what made him become a hero in the first place, because of course, as a hero, you got to go out and save people and stuff. You can't just be a loner. So I'm kind of curious, like, what drove him to become a hero. So in issue 2, we found out why he stopped, but we never found out why he started or when he started to get his powers,
Oh, and speaking of being what drove him, it was his truck.
Oh God.
No, I kind of like, because I like how they kind of said that in the second issue. Other superheroes, they can fly. I have to drive my truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one of the things of Avery too. His powers are pretty low key. He's just super strong, and he does heal fast and stuff. So whenever his friends catch something unusual, he could just say, "Oh yeah, I ate my Wheaties today," whatever, and some kind of excuse to downplay. Like in the second issue, I think we kind of go to the second issue by now. The second issue, he got like these a big injury on his shoulder that healed up like kind of like the next day or something. And they were like, "Whoa, what happened there?" And it's like, yeah, I took painkillers, whatever. Just like he doesn't have powers to the effect of, he doesn't sprout wings or horns or any crazy shit that's kind of hard to explain. He looks pretty low key, and that's why he kind of hides or kind of blends with the regular people that they don't know that he has powers, or you know what I mean. Your thoughts on the second issue though, because wow, that one took a turn. That was
okay. Okay, issue 2. I just took it back out again. Just skim it through again. I'm like, my mind just pretty much just exploded because it was like so many. It's like it's setting up so many things, and it's just making me wonder how are we going to wrap up all of these ends together? How are we going to tie up all of these threads? How many issues is this series going to get? That's what I really want to know, because there was like so much stuff in this one. I mean, the main thing I am the most curious about, aside from the fact that Jasmine is not really much of a thing, even though Darren still wants Jasmine with him for whatever reason, I don't know. His friend, the farmhand guy, the ranch hand, was it Sam?
Yeah,
I think was his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last issue, when Avery went back to the farmhouse or to the secure house or whatever it was on the ranch.
Yeah.
Well, we see Sam go into the place, and then because he hears something, and then he's gone. Then you see Avery go back later, and then there's these two hellish fire creatures there. They set the place on fire. Wasn't that you got hurt, like, but like about half a day later, he all right, just pop some pills. He's good. He's fully healed after he fought them. And then, he gets his old costume back, and he's going to fight whatever. And he goes to the what's it, that company, Gooding, what is it?
Gooding, like the detective guy.
Yeah, the Gooding group, and he gets his old Isom costume back, and he meets up with Bloodroot.
That's another thing. Yeah, I got a cool Yaira shirt that I got from the campaign, and
I got the Bloodroot one. I just thought she looked cool, and now that I got to see her in the comic, I think she is cool. But her powers are confusing to me too. But anyway. And then she and Avery and Isom, they go to rescue to find Sam. They find Sam. And then here's the thing I'm curious about. Is there some kind of a catch with him? I mean, spoilers are okay, right?
Yeah, we're going all out now. By now, most people got their books already.
Okay. When they rescue him, all the other victims that those creatures got, all the other humans are dead. Sam's the only one alive. I find that a little suspect, a little bit. I'm just a little suspicious of that. I mean, he's been there for like, who knows how many days, but he's okay. Well, kind of, sort of. Like you said, he hasn't had anything to eat in a few days, but he has that marking on his back.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what that means, and if he's like going to be controlled by something later. Or something, because it just seems so odd that it was so focused on. So it makes me think that this is going to play some part, is going to be important in some way. And I don't know how it's going to connect to everything else, but that's just my view on that. I like the fact that we found out why Isom quit. Is because, he couldn't save somebody who got killed, and, he failed to save that person, and it really affected him, so he just hung it up and didn't want to do it anymore. Good thing he's not a doctor. If he was a doctor, man, he'd be terrible. I mean, like you have some doctors that lose patients, and if you lose one patient, I gotta hang it up, man. I lost that one patient. I'm not going to try to just do better next time and make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. Nope, I gotta hang it up.
Yeah.
No, but it really did affect him. So, and it just wasn't for him. So I can understand that from that perspective and point of view. I felt sorry for him. But like, it just seemed like this issue is setting up way, way more than that first issue, because it was like, where are they a wrestling? You had a wrestling show with a wrestler, and you said that Eric is going to, this character is going to play some role too?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not necessarily here, but, he might get his own series or
a spin-off.
Now, my understanding is because I saw one of his streams, there is no plan so far for him to have his own thing, but if enough fans demand it, then there's going to be, a comic book based on him and stuff. But, It's interesting.
He wasn't in there long enough for that. I don't see how, but unless
he had
he's
a
been
bigger
one of
role
the
later
other.
on. Now, as for the
Yeah,
part that part where Avery, you know, what made him quit, that was graphic. With Chadra. Chadra was weird. He was like a big monster that doesn't really talk or talks maybe in his own language or whatever. That's kind of curious. But and this is the kind of thing that it's not stated but implied. Because if you notice there were like two con people there, like some kind of Comic Con or whatever, and one
yeah.
was a regular dressed dude, and the other girl was a girl in like some Wonder Woman-ish, legally safe Wonder Woman-ish kind of cosplay. And the Chadron kept focusing more on her. Like obviously he was gonna kill them both, but it was focused more on her. And I'm thinking it was because he probably thought that girl really was the character or whatever, and stuff like that. But Avery couldn't do shit. The dude was just way too strong. He was tanking all his punches and stuff. We've already established that Avery can punch way stronger than regular people, punch through walls, that kind of shit, and yet like they weren't affecting this dude at all. And yeah, he picked up the girl and killed her and stuff right in front of him. We're right where he couldn't do shit to stop it. So yeah, that is kind of because I know lots of heroes. I guess it kind of hits more to home because you're like right there. Because lots of heroes have things where maybe the building blows up, but you don't. I mean, like okay, the hero didn't show up in time and the people died, but you don't get to see it. You see the building just blow up, but here you actually see this poor innocent woman getting killed in front of him. So that was probably what drove him to quit.
Yeah, really, it was like traumatizing. And then also going back to another part of the story, I'm still trying to figure out what's the deal with Darren, because Darren actually had the audacity to attack Altona. He and then you find out that what was it? Wait, what was the group again that's helping that?
Yeah, the company Projexus, I think, or Pronexus.
Yes.
Wherever she
Yes.
Now I remember that too. In the last issue, like they try to make it sound like a big deal. It looks like, oh, he won't attack me, especially, considering who I work for. So I was kind of like, whoa, what's that mean? Now you find out she's for like the super big company or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. And Darren confronted him directly. He also had like undercover guys that were pretending to work for the company. Like a lot of weird shit going on.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder, what the heck does Darren want? I mean, what does he fear? I mean, and then after all of that happened, and then he was like, "Bring me Jasmine. We gotta get Jasmine." Like,
we gotta get Jasmine back into the story somehow.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. This story started because of Jasmine. Oh yeah, Jasmine. Yeah, we gotta get Jasmine back. We need her again. Shut up. We just gotta keep it going somehow. I'll think of something later for the next issue.
Yeah, I know. It's like that was the weirdest thing too. You should have had some scene or something, or maybe she's in the like how you do the stuff, maybe Darren's talking, I'll kill Altona, and Jazz is in the background just looking concerned, or just something to keep her in the story, because that is one thing that did kind of, because again, guys, this is a discussion. We're not going to be like sugarcoating and acting like this is the best book ever. We're going to discuss everything. So yeah, that was one of the faults, that the Jasmine thing had kind of forgotten.
Yeah, and you know what? It's something like what you were saying that I would have expected, that when Wesley said someone needs to bring me Jasmine, I was expecting like maybe the next panel or the next page like show like maybe Jasmine doing something and Darren thinking, something like that, even if they wasn't going to bring her back into the story or physically bring her into the story, that maybe to show what she's doing. And just so you can remember that, hey, she is a part of this story. So that's what I was expecting after Darren said that thing about, oh, where's Jasmine? We need to get Jasmine back. Like that. And I was like, I expected, like I said, a panel with Jasmine. Maybe she's, I don't know, drinking a cup of coffee. I don't know, just something.
Yeah. The bad thing is that I'm not sure, like later on, because this is the what they call the ill-advised arc, and it's a 3-part arc, which of course brings a question. I'll get that about what are going to do for part 3 to wrap all this up. But the thing is, if in the future there's ever like one of those, big trade paperback things, that has all 3 issues and you're reading all 3 as one long story, There's a big old gap in the middle where there hasn't been much mention or anything of Jasmine. Let's say Jasmine appears a lot in the next issue because they'll finally rescue her or whatever. That's a big old gap without Jasmine. If you're reading the whole story.
It's just like, because this story kind of started because of her.
Yeah.
This whole thing pretty much started because of her.
Now, the thing is that we have to see for the third issue, because again, and I know these are big books. The first one's 96 pages. I think the second one's like 112 pages or something. I don't know if it actually...
Really?
Yeah, a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. That was one of the things that were saying that that number 2 might have like, more pages, but we're not going to charge you more or anything, But
I still find it hard to believe that, like, it says here that issue 3 coming soon, like next Isom number 3 and the conclusion. And I was like, how? There are 2 big threads in this book. How? Unless
I don't know how they're going to do it.
150 pages. How are they going to wrap all of this up?
Yeah, because the thing is, and again, we're gonna go into big spoilers. The book actually ends with Avery rescuing Sam and Bloodroof, joining them. They leave the cave because they go to this big cave that has all these hell creatures in it. They leave, but then we find out there's like this gigantic fucking demonic final boss type character. He's like the boss of all the Hellions, and he's like, oh, we underestimated this human, So it's like, okay, so how? Yeah, show the picture. How are we going to put a little more? There we go. How are we going to get with what happens with this giant creature mixed in with the whole Darren situation and rescuing Jasmine, and like, I don't know how they're going to wrap all that shit up. And now, obviously, Isom, I'm hoping, I don't think this is a 3-part story. I'm hoping there's Isom 4, 5, and 6, whatever, but at least for this main storyline, I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, obviously they got to conclude the storyline, but they got to leave, leave little things for Isom 4. They'll probably end with like, Isom will forever be a hero from now on, and keep reading his other adventures or whatever, But yeah, for this Ill Advice arc, I don't know how they're going to wrap it up between the monster and his Hellions, which is also a big mystery because the Hellions were not like grabbing people at random. They chose Sam for a reason. They attacked Avery for a reason, and I'm sure all the other guys. That's another thing too. The Bloodroof said she was gonna check the DNA of those other people that were already dead. So I'm assuming next issue there might be some like, oh, all these people happen to be whatever, or that kind of thing. But it's a lot of stuff.
I want to say about Bloodroof. I'm still, like I said, her powers seem interesting, but I'm still trying to fully figure them out. Like I said, with Avery, he's kind of easy to figure out. He can't fly, but he can drive a truck. He has a lot of strength, and he can regenerate and heal very fast. He has a very good immune system, I would assume, But Bloodroof, it just seemed like, okay, she has this little power where she can like, it's like she's shooting out her own blood or something.
That's what it looks like.
And it seemed like she can figure people out through their blood, because that's the impression I was getting when she wanted to check the DNA of the people, and maybe she just can analyze blood easily. And it seemed like she can only and she can like manipulate blood so it can solidify, like when she was making the platforms for her and Sam.
Oh, that's
to get out.
And does kind of look like that. Now I think about it. Yeah.
That's all I can say. It just made me very curious about it, because that just seems like an unusual power. And I wish we had a little bit more on her, but it's not really important to the story at the moment, just as long as they get Sam out, because that was the main objective.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I just want to know what else can she do with blood? I mean, can her blood poison people? Can she give people hepatitis? I don't know.
Oh, God. Now, one thing about her that's kind of weird is that she lives in this castle and she's got all these weird monsters, because I guess she can travel through dimensions and stuff. And one thing I did pick up a little bit on, little bit of like meta commentary, sort of, they kind of slipped that in there, because one of the person behind the series, one of July's things that a lot of comic books and stuff are suffering nowadays is that now a lot of comics are relying on multiverses and stuff like that, to the point where it doesn't matter if so character dies or whatever, because who cares? They'll just bring in the multiverse version, they'll take his place and stuff like that. And it's been kind of killing a lot of comic books lately and whatever. So, you know, the multitude, what do you call it? Alternate universe kind of thing. And he really hates that. And one of the things he did with this series is that he does promise that everything that happens in the Isom and Rippaverse is going to matter. There's going to be no weird, like, okay, Blood Group died, but oh, here's multiverse Blood Group will take her spot. Like, if nothing happened, that they won't be doing that. So the funny thing is,
no alternate Earth situation where we're all on Earth 1 instead of Earth 2. Thank you, DC.
yeah,
thank you so much. Oh, that was just so crazy. Thank you, DC. I just don't care at this point, you know.
So in this case, Blood Group mentions how she goes to other worlds and stuff to bring all these. She has a fucking dragon type thing, and she has other kind of creatures and stuff. And Avery was like, "Oh, you mean like an alternate universe? Oh no, that's silly nonfiction. No, I'm talking about more like different dimensions and whatever." So that's kind of, I was like, ah ha ha ha, yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You know, that kind of thing, little sneaky. But it's weird because it's sneaky, but it kind of makes sense that they would say that in a comic book. It's not super nudge, wink, wink. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
So for theories here, lots of interesting things here and there. So Santuan, big powerhouse dude. I mean, from the way I see it, he's basically like Avery, just a bigger dude, and I'm assuming stronger than Avery. Avery has to kind of use some wits. They can't just blindly go, you know, hand in hand. You know, he has to use some strategy to get past them. So apparently they're supposed to know each other. The book didn't make it too, like, they acted more familiar in the second fight, but like beyond the first encounter. That's one thing that was kind of a nitpick for the first issue. It should have been a bit clear when they first met that they knew each other more, you know, oh, you're working for this fool now, or some shit like that, you know, but it doesn't imply they knew each other. So I'm kind of curious because in the second issue, Darren finally started noticing that, yo, you know, Isom's like, you know, knock people through walls and shit, and he knows that Santuan's a big, you know, a superpower dude, and yet, like, Avery's trading blows with him and stuff. So he starts asking him, yo, is he one of you guys? Like, you know, in other words, like an next step. And he's like, no, man, you don't pay me for intel and all that. So, yeah. So I'm just curious if they do have another connection or past friendship or something, you know? Like, I know he's strictly like business, like, yo, what business, man? I'm just here to muscle. I like to muscle. You don't pay me for intel. You don't pay me to ask questions and that kind of shit. But I'm wondering, like, is that true, or is there like more stuff going on between him and Avery in the past? So that part I'm kind of curious, the loyalty, because honestly, it doesn't cost them nothing to just say, yeah, he's like me, and that kind of stuff. So I'm curious about that. Now, one thing I would do if I was in charge, if I was one of the writers or whatever, and that kind of stuff.
Wait, before you give your thought. Something they should do. Make this more than 3 issues. That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Because that's one of my biggest fears, too. I really hope, and I've seen lots of stuff. I've seen other, like, comic book stories where it's a 3-part, 4-part, whatever, and it seems that everything is happening so fast in that last part because you got to, you know, and tie up all the loose ends and stuff. So I really hope that part 3 does not feel like a rush roller coaster and everything, you know. I mean, there's ways to do it and other ways to do it. Obviously, some people love that. Oh my God, this feels a fucking rush, you know. But do it in a way that it's not obvious that you're trying to cram all this shit in another 100 pages or so just to end it, you know. But anyways, one thing I was gonna say is to bring this kind of full circle. If I was in charge of number 3, I would have been kind of like, you know, like they do that stuff before, you know, like he got Santuan watching his back. Obviously, Santuan wants enough to take down Avery. So it's like, okay, all right. So we're gonna bring on a bigger, more badass Except to take this fucker out and whatever. And it just so happens that by coincidence, it's fucking Chadran, and that would have been fucking awesome. Have Chadran working for Fantano and have Avery maybe have a little bit of PTSD or whatever, because of course that's the dude that made him quit. and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that would have been my plan. At least so that the little flashback doesn't seem like a random flashback. I mean, for all we know, they could be building like, because the story's got to go on. We could also do it that maybe issue 3 is just about Jasmine and the monsters and whatever. But then like, that story's over. And then issue 4 could be about Chadron to have Isom resolve that issue. Because, they do that sometimes in other series.
That I could get behind. Like I said, maybe like you said, the first 3 issues is just a Darren and Jasmine story, and it's going to continue from there in issue 4, 5, 6, the next story, and wrap that up, and then maybe something else like that. Just depending, because if they start putting some more stuff in issue 3, I'm gonna be okay. You know what? You guys need to stop. Focus on what you already have.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty awesome because, like you said, it would be like a full circle thing. The guy that makes him quit is the one that he has to go up against. He has to get over that and fight him and defeat him, and then he'll be fully back as Isom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because that's the thing. The condition they gave him is that if you're putting on this Isom uniform, no quitting. So I'm assuming issue 4 and onwards, he's going to be sent on missions like, yo, Isom, we got this situation, we need you, and stuff like that. So that could work out. It could be both ways. It could be that issue 3 could bring it full circle. You got to get, like, if you want to rescue Jasmine, you got to get past Chadron or something. Or they could do like issue 4 that, okay, now that we got all the origin stuff for 1, 2, and 3, and this is like Isom's first, his first comeback official mission as a, ongoing hero again. That just happens to have Chadwick in there or something. I don't know. But
I just want to know.
Curious.
I'm just really curious as to why is Jasmine so important to Darren? That's what I would really like to know. And,
I don't know. Well, we have to see if that's important too. I mean, I just think he just will having to hire her and stuff. It's just she gone missing, so they got to go find out what's going on. But I don't know. I don't know how. But that's the thing that you have to watch out for too. That's always the thing. We could have one of those scenes where he has a gun to her head or some shit, and he doesn't really care about Jasmine. Now he's probably just using her to provoke Avery some more or something. It's kind of, I don't know.
I was thinking that maybe she knows something. I was thinking maybe she knows something because he obviously, he admitted to Avery, he's done some, illegal things, to fund his clubs and all that stuff. So I was just thinking that maybe Jasmine has information about something or Jasmine knows something, and that's why he wants to keep her close to make sure she doesn't, stray too much away from him, especially hanging around with Altona or Avery, because some might come out. Yeah, by the way, Darren, he ain't that good, Avery and Altona, he was smacking me around a bit. I don't like that, but I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I just did. Just something. I just think he has something. She has something on him, and that's why Darren wants her close. But if he had to get rid of her, he wouldn't be hesitant to do it. That's how I feel. Darren.
Because Darren does look like that kind of guy. It does look like maybe in the end where he's all defeated, and it's just him and Avery. He'll probably grab her with a gun and some shit. Kind of get away from it or something. He does look like he would pull that shit,
Something I was kind of expecting before I started reading? Okay, I was expecting, I wasn't expecting him to go after Altona. I was expecting Darren to go after her daughter. That's what I was, because, Avery was, Avery's going to go crazy for, messing with his sister, but he would go nuclear if you go after his niece, because she is an child. So I was expecting her to, something bad or something close to happening to her as opposed to Altona. He talking to her, then, he's telling her, oh yeah, good thing your daughter is okay. If you lay a hand on my smack, and Darren smacked her, ooh. And then, and she was like, because is an empty threat. So, it's not like you actually do anything, But good thing that the projectors or whatever could help her out with all of that with Darren. But yeah, I know we're talking about Jasmine a lot, and we ignoring the whole part about Avery here with Sam and Bloodroot. But I'm sorry, the story started with this whole Jasmine thing and Darren. I cannot ignore that.
Yeah. That's I'm confused by the monsters thing. I'm just confused how that's gonna tie. I mean, I'm assuming it's all gonna tie together or something. I mean, in my opinion, they should have probably had one of the monsters go after one of Darian's men too, or whatever reason they're going after these humans and stuff. But yeah, it is interesting. I'm really curious how they're gonna do issue 3. Now for the other characters introduced in Isom 1. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I still said Sam is going to end up being controlled by something, or he's going to turn on them. Just something. It's just, I just like so many just gears started turning in my head when I saw that part, and the fact that he wasn't like malnourished or super tired for someone that is a normal human, he really should have been. And why was he the only one who was not dead? That is just nagging at the back of my brain. It's like, why did he survive? Why? Were they experimenting on all the humans and Sam was the only surviving one? Or is Sam really just a corpse right now and he's just being controlled? It's like,
yeah, that's another thing. He could be. Because the other people, I mean, it could also be just art style error, but the other people, they were like, I mean, like they were dead and stuff, but it didn't look like they were, dead for weeks. They weren't like decomposing or whatever. So that's another thing. But
hold on. I gotta check something real quick. I just something else I don't remember. I gotta take a look. I take a quick look.
You gotta take a look at them color them trucks and them stairs.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was the main thing. I was expecting some truck problems, but I didn't see any truck issues. But I will say this: there were a few panels here when I was reading. It's like the wording was a little odd, in some places, not enough for talking about, but it's just something else with Sam I'm just taking a quick look at. Now,
one thing I do want to say though, while you're looking up at what's happening to Sam, is Isom 1 also introduced Alpha Core and of course Yaira. And I'm surprised that both of them still had cameos in the first issue. Like, I guess it kind of had that mindset that in the first issue, they're introduced mostly to, like, promote their stuff because they will be coming out with books later on and stuff. So I thought that, okay, so the issue 1 characters are going to be Yaira and Alpha Core, while the issue 2 characters are going to be Chabran and Bloodroot and Gooding and stuff like that. But no, we still got some scenes. So Alpha Core, as far as I can tell, they're kind of like I guess a superhero team, but they're kind of like the police. Like, I guess superpowered police to take down other superpowered individuals that obviously regular police can't, And they had to fight with Yaira because that's the biggest mystery about Yaira that we're gonna find out whenever she gets her book later this winter. Because the next campaign is gonna be about Alpha Core, and the next one after that's gonna be about Yaira. So Yaira was just attacking a police station out of some kind of personal something or other that we still don't know, some personal beef. Maybe they attacked her or something. Maybe the cops are corrupt. We don't know. But she was attacking them. And of course, Avery having to get mixed up because it was around at the same time where Avery was fighting with Antoine. It was kind of a weird thing that can only happen in comics, which is kind of funny, comics and cartoons, where Antoine knocked Avery out of the building and he just so happened to crash into Yaira as Yaira herself was being knocked back by Alpha Core, and they both kind of fight a bit. And that's where we get the thing where Yaira grabs Avery, flies all the way up, and just drops his ass in the car, which of course the surprising thing is how this individual survived the incident, because of course she had no way of knowing that. And so we go further into that in the second issue. There's a cameo, little page or two, where Alpha Core is looking up Yaira. They're discussing her and how she got crazy attacking the cops, and also because, of course, to them, Avery's just an innocent civilian attacking an innocent guy that happened to be there and stuff. And let me see here. So they know she's up to something, but we don't know what. And apparently the leader, I think his name was Brian. I think his name was Brian Braxwell or something like that, the leader of the Alpha Corps. Apparently he fought with Yaira in the past. And I guess since Yaira wasn't a bad guy per se, he kind of let her go, just go off and do whatever, but just not here. But obviously she's back here. And so they got to investigate. So I'm assuming we're going to find out more about that in the other issue. I was curious for me, the way these books are coming out, you know, I'm kind of wondering if it's kind of like the Marvel Universe kind of playbook kind of thing, sort of, the movie, the cinematic universe. I'm wondering if, like, on one side, I guess, you know, you can't, like they say, you can't wave the carrot with the characters and not do nothing with them. You know, you got Yaira in them. So I know Isom, like, you have to get number 2 out, number 3 out, but at the same time, yo, where's my Yaira book at? I like Yaira, you know, where's my Blood book at, or whatever, you know what I mean? So they got to.
I want some Blood.
Yeah, so you got to read them sooner than later, you know what I mean? But I am curious about the exact order. One of the things that made some of the fans curious was that Yaira was super loved. Like, when the book, you know, was in the campaign, there were even girls at a con cosplaying as Yaira before the book even came out. Like, they loved her so much. So whenever they announced the next campaign, everyone was kind of surprised there was an Alpha Core one and not one Yaira. Like, why not do Yaira's first or something? So I'm kind of curious if certain things happen in the Alpha Core book that are going to kind of tie into this book, sort of. Maybe certain concepts or certain ideas that somehow, you know, none that affects the plot, but just need to help make more sense. So when you see a certain scene in Isom 3, it makes more sense or something. I don't know, you know?
That's kind of like Sailor V and the Sailor Moon manga. So, you know, Sailor V came out first, but surprisingly Sailor V wasn't finished because Takeuchi Naoko started doing Sailor Moon, you know, after Sailor V and after a bit, but there are things in Sailor V that sets up the Sailor Moon series. You know, like how she was, how she showed up later in the Sailor Moon series and all that other stuff. Like, you know, you found out why she got the red bow and how she was the temporary moon princess and all that stuff until they could find the real one, which was Sailor Moon in the other series. So in the Sailor Moon series that went on much longer than Sailor V, and I think Sailor V was a better series in general, but that's just me. But yeah, but going back to Isom 2, because I had to check out something, because something just was in my memory. I just want to see if I was remembering this right. Something else I found suspicious about Sam and all the other bodies that were there. Everybody else was clothed fully except for Sam. That was weird to me. When I originally read it, and I thought that was weird too at the time. When Bloodroot used her power that seemed to burn her from the inside when she made the hole in the wall, she went in and she, you know, everyone was dead. Then she came across Sam, but everybody else had full clothes on. Sam's the only one that's not wearing a shirt, and I thought that was odd. I was just double checking to see if I was remembering or if I read that right or if I saw that right, and that's what I was checking. And I was like, yeah, he was not wearing a shirt or anything. So he's malnourished, hasn't had food and water in days. He's not wearing a shirt, and he can still have it, and he has enough strength to jump from platforms to get away away.
Oh God, he was jumping from platform to platform. Yeah. Now, one thing,
all of that suspicious.
Now, another thing we got to see also is that we got to see another thing about Sam is that Sam also inadvertently found out that Avery is Isom.
Yes.
Because
yes.
You know, when Isom went in full costume and stuff, introduced himself to Bloodroot and whatever, he's got no reason to divulge his real name or whatever. But when Bloodroot rescued Sam and he's out there fighting and stuff, and he saw, damn, what's Avery doing out there fighting? Bloodroot's like, Avery? He told me his name was Isom. So I'm wondering, like, what they're going to do with that and everything.
Yes, that was cool, too. It was like, but still, why was Sam not wearing a shirt? Why was all the dead bodies still in their clothes? What is going on?
Yeah, I know.
It's just me.
Now we'll find out in the third one. And another thing that's kind of interesting about issue 2 was the scene where it looks like Yaira is secretly working for Projexis or Pronexus, whatever, to to find out what's going on. She's doing some undercover shit. I'm wondering if Pronexus has like information and stuff, and she's kind of digging around to find out stuff based on, whoever she's having revenge on, find out more information about that person or something. And of course, she's got some weird plans because she's all like, she's working with them. And of course, comic books always do. You always have the little line. So she's all, oh yeah, I got some ideas you're just dying to see. So it's like, okay, so what's she up to, So that's kind of curious. So Yaira's fighting on all fronts. She's fighting as an undercover type person, but she's also fighting just fucking flying out there and blasting people. So she's doing it both ways, as a regular person and as a superpowered person.
See, this is what I'm saying. You have that in there. We have the Jasmine crowd. We got big hellish bees. We got Bloodroot. We got maybe a corpse sand running around as an experimentation of these hellish beasts. Who's controlling them? Who knows? Sorry, there is too much going on in this series.
I know. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure that at least when it comes to Yaira, that's going to be more like, her book will be all about that. You know what I mean? At least that's something. Okay. At least we can get that out of the way. But the other stuff, I am curious. That is the biggest curiosity. How are you going to tie all the Darren stuff, the Jasmine stuff, with the Hellions and this weird giant Hellion monster master guy? Like, how they're going to tie all that together in 100 or so pages and whatever, so...
I reread some of issue 2, though. I didn't reread a lot of 1, but I did reread some of issue 2. So, yes, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, God. And that was the thing, too. I have to remember, because you read the book, the first one, more recently, so it's more fresh in your mind to me. I had to go back and check the pages because, I was confused on that. I was confused, why are we all caring about Sam now? And then, oh, yeah, in the first issue, there was that one scene where something got him, But, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm just curious how it's going to go. Isom's got some hella crazy adventures, and we're going to see, how this ties into the next one. Now, I do kind of feel they kind of go the new character format, so... I don't know. I kind of have the feeling that Bloodroot won't be so much in the third one. She'll probably just appear a bit to, tell them, the whole thing. I checked the DNA and stuff, and I found out that all these people are related somehow or whatever. But, issue 3 might still be, this issue introduces so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. Buy your shirts now.
Same here. I don't really expect much either. I just thought they just put her in the series, like with Yaira, just because they're probably going to have her own series too, maybe just to introduce the character, and then you learn more about her in her own series. But maybe she'll cross paths with Isom every once in a while, if they need something, or maybe they come across the same. They have to fight a similar enemy, that type of thing. Or in a DC comic where Batman has to actually work with Catwoman for some reason, something like that,
Yeah. So these characters, they do lend themselves to that, because what's it called? Alpha Core going against other villains that require their services, Yaira with her revenge plot. But these ones are interesting too, because Bloodroot, just the concept alone of her being able to, go to other universes and dark worlds and find all these monsters and creatures, that alone is a comic book right there. That's kind of like a dark Doctor Strange type thing or something. You know what I mean? That could be your comic book series about,
I would definitely invest in that if they do some Bloodroot comics. I would definitely order those if they do that, because I am really curious about it when she said she goes to other dimensions and bring all these creatures back. So I'm like, okay, why are you going to other dimensions? What do you do in these other dimensions? What is your purpose for going to these other dimensions? How did you get your powers? How did you discover you had these powers?
Yeah, she seems like one of those those people that are out to seek knowledge and stuff and collecting. So that's what she has all her books and legends and stuff. She wants to, I guess, maybe explore these places and find interesting things. So it's kind of interesting. Now with Gooding though, Gooding, I'm kind of curious too. He's also a detective and he's got, stuff. And yeah, I'm wondering if there'll be a series about him too, solving weird superhero related mysteries, and Bloodroof could kind of appear there because it sounds like he's the one doing more of the, regular type detective work, while Bloodroof does all the more dangerous power demonic stuff, So
it's like they're doing the intel.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious because, that's another thing too, the whole universe, the whole Rippaverse, there's all these different things. So you can kind of do it like that. Like if you want, because I'm assuming Isom is more going to be more street level. So if you want more street level stuff, buy Isom comics. You want like these superhero teams, buy Alpha Core comics. If you want to go into like darkness and demons and shit, exploring hell
and mythology.
Bloodroof comics.
And maybe some mythological things. And that'd be more my path. I like the whole mythological, historical type, jump like that. So that probably.
And then Gooding would be good for people that like mysteries and detective work and all that, detective and everything.
Yeah, and that also would be good for me.
Yeah. Now another thing too is at the ending of the first issue of Isom, kind of easy to forget because there was no mention of them in the second one. We have this like music band that turned out to be like, I don't know, like Magical Vikings or some shit. I don't know what they are, but they're another team called Norfolka, and they're all going to be dealing with, I think they're going to be dealing more with like classical mythological things, kind of like Thor, like a superhero team of Thor, some if we were to compare to, pre-existing media. So that's another thing right there. They're going to probably get their own book too, because I doubt they would do that in the first one without,
And undercover wrestlers. Okay.
Yeah, wrestler guy too. I'm curious because there's no reason for him to just like waste like what 6 pages worth for it to be nothing. But they did say that he's going to be a character of some sort, and if there's enough demand, hey, there may be a book of that. And I don't know. We love wrestling, so a wrestler, and then he does superpowered shit versus maybe evil wrestlers. I mean, hey, I buy that. Make it where like a legally safe version of it. Oh, have a couple of bad guys and you have a legal version of the NWO kind of sort of, call them something else.
No, I was going to say, no, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to see, me, I'm just jumping to someone like Roddy Piper. So, because I love Roddy Piper. So I want like him like as the enemy or something. He's like a healer character. I don't know, Bobby Ryder. I don't know. He's some bad guy. Then you have a Bulk Bogan going up against him. I don't know. Okay, I'm just being lame right now, but that'd be cool.
I know.
Some kind of NWO, some kind of NWO, evil NWO group, the OWN, and
yeah, I know it's goofy, but if I saw, how they always show those little panels here and there, like whenever there's a campaign. I'm sorry, but there's a campaign. And there's a guy with a big ass mustache, and he's all like, "What, sorry, brother?" While he's beating up the wrestler guy. I'm like, okay, where's my money? I'll be buying that. But so far, from my understanding, the roadmap we don't know quite yet, and that's the bad thing about Isom. We had to wait quite a while though for part 3 because, like I said, the next one's going to be Alpha Core. The one after that's going to be Yaira. Then Isom 3, I'm assuming. But then I'm hearing that the guy who's doing Alpha Core already did, all the planning stage or whatever, however far they are, because, it takes a while, the planning, drawing, paneling, inking, and all that stuff. And of course, each person does their own whatever. I believe he's working on Alpha Core 1 and Alpha Core 2, and then a mysterious third project that he can't reveal because I'm assuming it's some new character that's going to come out later on that hasn't been introduced yet. But that character will be getting their own book. And at the same time, the girls that are working on Yaira are, I think they said they're working on Yaira 1 and 2, at least so far. So those are the ones that we have so far until they announce something else. And I think the big plan is that the more the books sell and stuff like that, they're thinking of maybe costing them like a bit lower and stuff. They're at $35 now. Maybe they'll drop it to 30. I don't know. And the other plan is also that hopefully once, how it is, because it takes time to establish reader base. You know what I mean? So once you get that reader base, where because the first campaign was like, I think it was $3.7 million. The second campaign ended at $2.3 million. So once they kind of gouge everything and they kind of know that, let's just say they run it off to maybe 2.1 or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not the math guy behind them. I'm just saying, if they can get to a point where they can guarantee that each book they know for a fact is going to get like $2 million at least or something like that, they want to get to the point where maybe next year or the year after they can have a new book every month. But of course, but not Isom every month. It's like, 1 month Isom, 1 month Gyro, 1 month hopefully Blood Roof, Wing
Well, as long as they,
and
I want my Blood Roof. But anyway, as long as they focus on quality over quantity, it should be fine.
But it is one of the hardest.
You gotta get the trucks and the stairs right. That is very important.
They get the trucks and the stairs right. Yeah. Yeah, and number 2, I didn't notice so many things like that. The thing I noticed the most was just the typo with Good Ying. And like I said, when I did my review, like, my God, even on the front cover it says, I don't know if it's clear enough, it says Good Ying without the I, and then like I'm not gonna take this out of the thing. Well, you got the back of the book. You can put the back of the book real close to the camera. Somewhere it says Good Ying on it too, and it's also misspelled and everything. Oh, you got it back in the bag?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you leave it there. I thought you already had it out because you were reading through it earlier or something. But
yeah, I took it out a few times and I just put it right back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first issue had its things, but it's still the first issue, this isn't like some person that's been doing books for years and decades or whatever.
Yeah.
So, mistakes are to be expected and stuff like that. My biggest thing, what was the thing? My biggest thing in the first issue was the infamous Avery and Santuan jumping at each other, and then he just fucking peel back without any kind of.
Yeah, that was a little confusing to me too, because I was like, it just felt like that something was missing. It just felt like something should have been in between that before, from that page to the next page. Like, there should have been something in between that panel. Yeah. Before, like, a panel in between that.
It's like on one side, I know they wanted to make that like a full page panel splash, but on the other side, they didn't want to break it. But no, we needed the impact punch or whatever, the impact double person punch thing or something. That was my major complaint of the first issue. And the second one is just for me, the typo wouldn't be so bad if it was a typo that was not on the cover and not like the first time the guy was named. You know what I mean? Like the third or fourth time. It's like if page whatever accidentally says Avery instead of Avery, like, it's not a big deal because we know his name is Avery. We know it's a typo. We know that stuff, But in the very first page ever, it's like, here's Avery Silman on his farm. It's going to be confusing because we think that's his name until they correct it. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing that got me. I know typos happen. I've heard people say, oh, it's not a big deal. But for me, it kind of bugs me because that's the first time the character's names. That should get right, At least my thoughts. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for our discussion. We kind of covered everything. I don't know if you have any other theories or any other things here and there on any of the characters and stuff like that. I mean, in my opinion, I do think that Jasmine is kind of sort of, she's not inconsequential, but she's not terribly important except for, like, what drives the plot, what starts things going. But I do hope to have more of a something in the third issue. Like I said, I'm expecting Darren to do that bullshit. Either he personally will have her at gunpoint, or you'll have like his boys with her, and like, the next room down, like, all I gotta say is the order and she's dead. What's it gonna be, Avery? What's it gonna be? That kind of shit. But she has to do something in the third issue. We gotta find out what's going on there.
I just want to know, what beef does Darren have with Avery? Like, seriously, did he kick him in the nuts when they were kids? I mean, seriously, what does Darren have against Darren? I mean, what does Darren have against Avery? That's what I would like to know. But final thoughts? I thought the story is interesting. I just, like you said, just wondering how are they going to wrap everything up. I can't help but be curious about that. And Sam, what is the deal with Sam? like I said, is he really a corpse right now and he's just being controlled because he got like demon energy inside of him or something? And he's able to move around because he obviously did not look malnourished, tired, or affected at all as a normal human. I know this is a comic book, suspension of disbelief, but he's supposed to be a normal human. Or is he an accept who just discovered his powers or something like that, but that wouldn't have made, and he just doesn't know what they are yet, which is why he was able to survive so long. But that was another theory that was playing in the back of my mind, and that's why he was able to why he survived when all the other people didn't. But we don't know what his actual power is, and technically he didn't really need reference. But he didn't have a power that would make him strong enough where he could like, oh, I could like punch this wall, but why would he think to do that, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's interesting because they could do so many things with it. They could do like the cliche, you know, that when Bloodroof is investigating, she'll call Avery and be like, oh my God, I just discovered so-and-so, either her or Goodwin, you know, get Sam out of there now. And that's when Sam turns evil or something. I don't know. But another thing, I mean, that could be interesting. It could be because when they attacked Avery, they didn't know it was the next step either. They just thought it was like whatever. They didn't go after him knowing he had superpowers. They just went after him for XYZ reason. So for all we know, maybe like you said, maybe Sam had powers they just never knew about that were now just unlocked with this whatever the fuck they did to him with his glowing Akuma symbol on the back that he's got now. Because it was glowing too. That was, you know. So with him knowing that Avery's Isom, it would be interesting if he either kept a secret, maybe they'll, you know, and whatever because of that, because now he's the next step too, or maybe they'll cure him, but at least he knows, or I don't know.
and also one more thing that made me suspicious of Sam. So let me see. I got it. It's right here. Hold on. I know where I'm going with this. Okay, where is it? If we can get to it, that's the cave. When you get to the cave. And when Bloodroof first met Sam, sorry, I'm just so, I like theorizing. Okay, so like the part here after, okay, I don't know if you can see it, but when he was standing up, he was standing up and Bloodroof was checking the blood of like the others or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird too, only because he looked like I don't know, it just seemed like maybe I'm just overthinking it. Because you know what kind of person I am, right? You know how I am. I overthink things a lot, especially like fictional things that have no base, that's not relevant to anything. So when he was standing over her, I was thinking, what if he's turning evil? What if he's going to try to attack her? The way he looked to me, it's just...
Yeah, it could be epic foreshadowing, you know.
Yes, thank you. That's what I keep thinking. It's like my mind is going in so many directions. Thank you for introducing Isom to me. Okay, we need to stop because it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here because we probably got enough theories and stuff. But that is a good thing too. That's what we want. We want to help out our little part here with word of mouth, theories. People are free to agree, disagree in the comments below, and do this and that. But yeah, for me right now, that is like the biggest mystery is how are they gonna wrap this shit up in issue 3? There's a lot. I would not be surprised if issue 3 is like fucking 140 pages or 130 pages or something.
I'll take it. I would take it as long as they wrap up everything nicely. I will take that 140 pages. But this is ridiculous. There's too much crap going on. And don't forget, Avery still wants to go after Darren after he found out what he did to his sister.
Oh yeah, because he slapped her and he's like, I'm gonna kill him. Kill him. So, you know, we gotta see what's going on there. So anyways, guys, this is Mark Rodriguez here with my copies. Here's Wendy with her copies. Once again, if you do not have this copy and, you know, this cover, and you like this cover in particular, you better get it now because once they like sell out of those, they're not reprinting these anymore. And like I said, for an example, once again, this is the limited copy for the first campaign. Pull up yours real quick, Wendy. The one that she has is the one that that if you were to buy it today, that's the one that's available. This one's gone. So eventually this one will also be gone. So if you like this cover, you better get it now. Because again, once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, I noticed because you have the little thing on there too.
Oh, well, I got the bookmark on it. I just have
Look at look at your first issue.
Oh, I didn't notice it said limited whatever. Or
yeah.
Yeah, this is the Yairo variant, and you got the Alpha Core variant. I don't know why they decided to make the Alpha Core one the the deciding permanent one or whatever, but
maybe they flipped the coin.
Yeah, they probably did that. It's kind of weird. Because, for example, the issue 2 one, the one where he's like hanging off the roof or whatever, that one looks like a more neutral cover, and everything instead of a Blood Roof variant or something like that. But yeah, they also got Blood Roof posters. The thing is, I just don't like posters because you gotta stick them to the wall, and sooner or later you are gonna have to tear them down if you move or something like that, or you want to paint the wall a different color or something, that kind of thing. But they do have, I think they have some Yairo posters left from the first campaign, but they got Blood Roof posters and
you
stuff
should,
like that.
something you should do with posters, you should frame them. Frame the posters and hang those up instead.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I wonder where I guess Walmart pays like that. Oh, what's it called? Michael's sell they sell.
Yep.
All right, guys. So anyways, we're gonna wrap it up before we go into another hour. So we could literally go for hours with the characters. But I just noticed that. No, I mean that's the point. This was going to be a longer. That's what I'm not saying. This is not a review. This is more of a overall discussion because we're going to go into the plots and everything. Lots of cool characters. Obviously, I like Isom and his the determination, his motivations and stuff like that. That's another thing I kind of saw that I did say in my review that was kind of interesting. How he kind of, I guess, put the Jasmine thing on the back burner to go rescue Sam, his farmhand. But the way I see it personally is that Jasmine is just some girl he doesn't know that well, sort of, while Sam is his actual employee and I'm assuming longer time friend, and it seemed more immediate. I mean, he did see Jasmine over there. Jasmine was alive. It's just she's with Darren and whatever. But Sam was someone that, for all they know, he could already have been dead. So it was more of a, it was more
urgency. More urgency for that. And like I said, that's what someone like Avery, he's a gray character. It's not like and like I said, even in the first issue with Jasmine, he put Jasmine on the back burner because Darren disrespected him.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. Turn the girl okay first before you go trying to kind of your pride,
Yeah.
But he's a great area character to me, and that's a good flaw. And I like the fact that he is a flawed character. He is not a perfect character because nobody is perfect. And I think it's like a little bit of realism in your fiction.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's our discussion for now. And we got 2 issues of Isom, maybe near the end of the year when we get both Alpha Core and Yaira. Wow, it's up to you, of course. I'll be getting them. I can't speak for you there. But if we do get them all, we'll probably do another discussion about those 2 books. We'll go into 2 and 2. Or maybe later on, whenever we get out Isom 3, we can do the entire ill-advised arc and see what we think of the whole story. Not if we got the full story, but something like that. But yeah, we'll be doing that. Every once in a while, when there's enough material, we'll do another discussion thing. And hey, if anyone else gets into it, Johnny or Jack or whoever gets into it, then we'll bring them aboard too. But anyways, guys, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
And of course, this is Jupi Chan, also known as Ninja Jupi or Wendy. And I'm waiting for my blood roof. That's all I have to say. And what is the deal with Sam?
Oh, God. Why? Somehow I don't think Sam's going to get any shirts and posters, but we still got to find out what happens to him. See you later, guys.
Bye.